Chapter 2. A couple of stitches and the slammer. When I stepped out of the elevator into the lobby, I was shocked by the swarm of reporters with flashing cameras. How did they get there so quickly? He's just a kid. What's your name? He's bleeding. Why did you do it? Did you make it to the top? I didn't answer any of their questions. In fact, I barely looked at them. The whole point of the spectacular attack is not the artwork. It's the mystery of how it was done. A subway rider goes by the same 17 abandoned freight cars parked on a sidetrack, week after week, year after year. Then one morning, all 17 of them have been tagged top to bottom with wild, beautiful graffiti. Or a driver in bumper-to-bumper traffic drives under the same overpass 1,000 times, barely noticing it, until the morning the entire span is painted day-glow orange and green. How'd they do that? Scaffold. In one night? How many of them were there? Where were the cops? What's the point? The mystery. That's the point. And there isn't enough of it, in my opinion. My little blue mountains were small, but I made up for their size by putting them in audacious places where they might never be seen except by a bored office worker or window washer. This is my 6th skyscraper. I had planned to do 9 altogether. Why? I have no idea. Now everyone would know how I did it. The mystery was gone, and that was the worst part of getting caught. Or so I thought. I expected my mom to show up in the emergency room and tear off my left ear. But she didn't. And it turned out that my right ear was still attached to my head, as was most of my cheek. The East Indian emergency doc took a look at my face and didn't light for a minute or two. Then asked me what happened. I and the 2 cops standing in the doorway said they were the ones who messed me up. My face froze to a wall. You should have used lukewarm water to unfreeze it. If I had some handy, I would have. I'm going to clean it up and put in a couple of stitches. Oh, sorry, messed up there. I'm going to clean it up and put in a couple of little stitches. I was out of there in less than an hour. The 2 cops drove me to the police station and put me in a filthy room with 2-way mirror. I didn't look so hot. I didn't feel so good either. My head throbbed, my arms and legs ached, and I had 4 fingernails split all the way down the middle. It felt like someone had lit them on fire. The emergency doc hadn't even bothered to look at them. After what seemed like 2 days, the door opened, and a tired-looking detective in a ruffled suit came in carrying my backpack and a thick file. He dumped the contents of the pack on the table and went through everything piece by piece. When he finished, he scooped the stuff back in, then looked at me and shook his head. You messed up, Pete. Peak, I said. Like in Mountain Peak? Right. Weird name. Weird parents. Yeah, I just talked with your mother. She said that I had her permission to beat you to death. Good old Mom. I got another phone call, he added. The mayor. I've been a cop for 35 years, and I've never gotten a personal call from the mayor. He's upset. Turns out he was at a reception in the Woolworth building. They thought you were a terrorist, but it's pretty clear now that you're just a moron. Moron. Sorry. He stared at me, waiting for a reaction. I didn't give him one. I was a moron. I should have checked the building's evening schedule more carefully before I scaled it. The reporters hadn't rushed over to snap photos of me. They were already there for the mayor's reception, and so were the cops. They'll take you over to JDC in a bit. What's JDC? I hadn't been arrested before. Juvenile Detention Center. You'll stay there until you're arraigned. Arraigned? That's a weird name. That's a weird word for me. Okay. I wasn't sure what that meant, either. And the detective must have sensed this because he explained that there was a separate court system for juvenile defendants. The district attorney would decide what the charges would be, and I would have to go before a judge and plead guilty or not guilty. Then they'll let me out. Sorry, people. That was the wrong way to say that. Then they'll let me out, I said. Maybe. Maybe not. Depends on how much the bail is and whether your parents can cough up the dough. Or they might deny bail altogether, which means you'll be in JDC until your trial or sentencing date. That could be months. The courts are backed up. My mouth went dry. I haven't been in trouble before, I said. You mean you haven't been caught before? The detective opened the file folder and spread out 3 photographs on the table. We've been tracking these tags for quite a while now. Looks like we caught the tragger red-handed. The photos were grainy, obviously taken with a long telephoto lens. But the blue stenciled mountains were clear enough. Two uniformed cops were waiting for me outside the interrogation room, along with my mom, who was so mad she could barely speak. She looked at the bandages on my face and managed to ask if I was okay. Yeah, I'm fine. We've got to take him to JDC, ma'am, one of the cops said. Mom nodded, then looked at me. We'll see what we can do, Peek, but you've really done it this time. The cops led me away. By the 3rd day at JDC, I was climbing the wall, literally, until my counselor, that's what they call the guards here, told me to stop. Spider Boy, Fly Boy, the Gecko Kid was front page news every morning. Each article dug deeper and deeper into my family's past. My mom, dad, stepfather, even my twin sisters were targets. There were infrared photos of me clinging to the scraper, photos from school, photos of my mom and dad when they were rock rats. Let's say rock stars. And my other two Blue Mountain tags had been discovered. Sorry guys, I'm messing up. It's morning. Just woke up not too long ago. I stopped reading the newspaper accounts after the 2nd day and left the common room when the news came onto the television. They limited our phone calls at JDC. I was only able to catch Mom once to ask her what was going on, but she was meeting with the attorneys and didn't have time to talk. On the morning of the 4th day, my counselor came in my room, that's what they call the cells, and said I had a visitor. Finally! I was pretty disappointed to see it was Vincent in the visiting room instead of my mom. No offense, Vincent. He looked a little shocked when he saw my scabbed-over face and ear. I brought some books for you, he said, pushing a couple of paperbacks across the table. I imagine it gets a bit boring in here. Yeah, thanks. I also brought along a couple moleskin notebooks. See? He puts a lot of facts. Yeah, sorry. He took 2 black shrink-wrapped notebooks out of his bag and set them on the table like they were sacred texts. Trust me, they are. Sorry, people. They were made in Italy. Van Gogh, Picasso, I don't know how to say it. Ernest Hemingway, Bruce Chatwin, drew over. I'll read that again. They were made in Italy. Van Gogh, Picasso, Ernest Hemingway, Bruce Chatwin drew or wrote in moleskins. Really? I guess I'd better tell you a little more about my school. It's a special school. In fact, so special that it doesn't have an official name. It's simply known as the Green Street School, or GSS, because that's the street it's on. There are 100 students, kindergarten through high school, from all over Manhattan. Most of the kids are prodigies, meaning they play music, sing, dance, act, solve math problems computers can't solve, and me. You can't do any of these things. I got in because my stepfather, Wolf Young. He's on their advisory board and does all of the legal work. It's all of the legal work pro bono, meaning for free. The school is 2 blocks from our loft, and my twin sisters go there too, but unlike me, they deserve to be there. They are both piano wizards. Cool. I'd like to be a piano wizard one day. Okay, sorry. It took them a year to figure out my talent, which I think they made up so Wolf would continue I keep on saying wolf. Sorry. Wolf with an R. Sorry, guys. Can't pronounce.